loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives,
Parental alienation, what is that? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about and unpacking this time around on Making It Last. Welcome. I'm Noreen Daly, and it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. And to unpack that this time around, we have Victoria McCooey. Victoria, welcome.
Thanks for having me, Noreen.
What is parental alienation?
And
what qualifies you to speak about this?
Parental alienation is when one parent tries to disparage the other parent to the children in an effort to alienate the children from that other parent. It is a devastating issue. It happens a lot in divorce, especially in divorce from a narcissistic spouse. And I'm qualified to talk about it because I deal with it every day in my coaching practice. I coach people who are in relationships with a narcissistic partner and are trying to figure out how to get out.
Okay. Before we unpack this a little bit, why of all the areas, why that particular area is the area that you're focusing in? Why? Why that particular area?
Because it's a very unique, specialized situation. Lots of people get divorced, but what even courts don't recognize is that when you're trying to leave a relationship from a narcissistic person, all bets are off. The rules don't apply. There's no moral compass. There's no sense of fairness. You can't play on the same playing field. They don't obey rules. They don't follow orders. They don't obey laws. They don't care about what a court tells them to do. They don't care about the emotional well-being of their own children. So what a court expects you to do and how a court expects you to behave doesn't apply. And it's a very frustrating situation because you can't,
Okay.
you'll just get railroaded. He or she, the narcissistic spouse, will just roll right over you because you're trying to comply with what you're supposed to do according to the law and according to the court's direction, and they don't.
Wow. So what we're going to be unpacking this time is how to combat attempts at parental alienation. So how do we do this?
Sorry, say that again.
How to combat parental alienation, right? So how do we do this?
Well, it's a big question, right?
Mm-hmm.
So nobody believes that their spouse is capable of that, even though they're so capable of hurting you and being abusive to you. They just don't believe that somebody could purposely put their own children in harm's way, but it happens. So they almost don't see it coming. So the first thing is to expect it, is to be prepared and understand that they are capable of anything. Again, because they have no moral compass, right? Narcissists believe that, I heard something I love. Narcissists use people the way addicts use drugs. It is all for their enjoyment. It's never enough. They have no respect for anyone else. It's just everyone is there to serve their own purposes. And they get this high, they get this rush from using people, manipulating people, gaslighting people. It's a really weird disorder that it's hard for other people to even understand because we're not wired that way. So children fall under that category. Whatever the narcissist needs, if the children can provide that for the narcissist, fair game as far as the narcissist is concerned. If it means putting them in an emotionally difficult spot, it doesn't matter because it serves the narcissist's needs. So usually what the narcissist's need is in a divorce is to punish the other spouse, the partner, because even if the narcissist left, even if the narcissist filed for the divorce, even if the narcissist was having 15 affairs or gambled all the money away or whatever, if the other person is leaving, is going through with the divorce, they feel abandoned. And abandonment is what a narcissist fears most. So here's their nightmare coming true. They're being abandoned and their ego can't handle it. So in retaliation, they feel they have to hurt their ex-partner as much as they feel that person's hurt them. And that means doing anything and everything to hurt them. So parental alienation is one. Another is they enlist flying monkeys, which means they go out and spread all kinds of lies or rumors about the other person to make them look like the victim, that the other person's the bad guy. They'll make up anything, tell everyone who'll listen. So it's not just children, but of course we care most about our children and their emotional well-being. So the narcissist will, gee, in my own case, your mother doesn't love you. What could be worse than that? Trying to convince the children that their other parent doesn't love them. That's the go-to. But then it can be anything, your mother did this, your mother did that, your father, anything. Just, I don't want to say specific things because, there's specific things my clients have gone through. So I feel like I have to protect that, but just outrageous things. I'm Victoria McCooey, narcissist divorce coach. We're going to take a short break to get a word from our partners.
You can't live your best life without a healthy immune system. Boost your immune system the delicious way with Zappy's organic juices and punches. Made from local produce with zero added sugar, our juices cleanse and revitalize your body as they boost your natural immunity. Try our delicious flavors: Beat It, Berry Bomb, Get Fresh, Ton Up, and Island Splash. Find us on Instagram at Zappy's Organics or call or send a WhatsApp message at 1-876-779-8910 to order today. That's 1-876-779-8910. Zappy's Organic Juices and Punches. Live your best life today.
Does your business lack branding? Having difficulty realizing your vision? Look no further. Splinth Brand Design Consultancy specializes in developing personal and business brands. Services include strategic management, website creation, social media branding, and more. Visit them online at www.wearesplinth.com. Splinth, the brand you need to succeed.
Hi everyone, Delmas Brown here, National Debating Champion 2017, also graduate of Northern Caribbean University, Governor General Awardee for Excellence 2018, and also international researcher, international debater, among other things. Now, the reason behind this video is to introduce you to the world's best communications coach who has made all of these kinds of accomplishments possible. Now, for 4 years, I had the opportunity, or privilege rather, to be coached by Noreen Daly, a communications speech specialist who has done a very phenomenal job at ensuring that I no longer use unnecessary filler vocabulary, and who has also taught me the essence of communicating.
Welcome back to Making It Last podcast. I'm Victoria McCooey, narcissist divorce coach.
Before you go to another one, though, when somebody's going through this and these lies are happening, are being spread, is it his or her responsibility to respond to it, or just allow things to just, for want of a better word, play out?
Okay, so this is like, we could talk about this for hours because there's so much involved here. But if I boiled it down, of course, you want to protect your children. You want to say, no, your dad is, if it's the mom, your dad is bad. Your dad is a liar. Your dad said these terrible things about me. Your dad. But what happens then is that you're the same as dad, right? So they don't know who's telling the truth. Dad is saying terrible things about mom, and mom is saying terrible things about dad. So they have no safe place. They don't know who to believe. You're both
Yes.
doing that, right? So what I teach in my coaching is that it's hard, but if dad is saying really terrible, disparaging things about you to your kids, you can't retaliate. You have to be the calm, reasonable, rational, mature, consistent parent so that they know that you're safe. You can't grill them about what dad said. You have to just not react,
Okay.
you don't want them to think that they can control your emotions with this information, right? Because that's too big of a burden for children to think that they're in control of your emotions or they have that power.
True.
So it's so hard to do this work, but it's about not taking the bait, not saying anything negative or positive, except the only thing is about putting their feelings first. So if they said, well, dad said you blah, 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 you can say, oh, how did that make you feel? So it's not about you, right? It's not, how dare he say that? That's horrible. That's not true. He's a liar. How did that make you feel? Oh, I'm sorry you had to hear something so terrible. So sorry. If you need to talk to me, you can talk to me. I'm sorry that you were put in that spot where you had to hear something so awful. And if they ask you, well, is it true? You can certainly say, oh, no, that's not true. But, so it's not retaliating your dad's bad. It's just, I want to take care of you. I want
Yeah. Shifting the focus and keeping the focus where it really needs to be on the child. Yeah.
Right. So another one is when your children are older. This actually happened to me, and I've helped a lot of other clients of mine use this same tactic. Well, dad says this happened and this way, and you say this happened that way. They both can't be true. So who do I believe? And I said, well, one of us is lying. And it's up to you to figure that out. I'm not going to say your dad's a liar, right? Or I'm just say, yep, you're right. Both of those things cannot be true. And now, if you have always been the consistent parent who's always shows up when they're supposed to show up, does what they say they're going to do, is always mature, is always reasonable, is always responsible, and the other parent is volatile and chaos and unpredictable and yelling and anger, and who do you think is telling the truth, right? It's not going to be hard for them to figure it out.
And I think more often than not, I'm not a parent, but sometimes I don't think we give children enough credit and think that they don't observe and they don't see things for themselves and can't figure things out for themselves. So they're quite resilient. I think sometimes even more than adults.
It's a horrible thing to go through, but what I've seen over all the years I've been dealing with this is that when you retaliate, that's when the alienation lasts. I have parents who come to me and they haven't seen or spoken to their kids in a decade. And there's not a whole lot I can do at that point, right? So this is something that you need to be prepared for right out of the gate. It's something that you have to be. I said I see clients who haven't talked to their children in 10 years, and at that point there's not a whole lot I could do because they don't have any contact. But that's why I said in the beginning you have to expect it and be prepared on how you're going to handle it right out of the gate.
Okay. As we're wrapping up, Victoria, anything else you'd like to add for somebody who may be currently going through it and somebody who maybe at some point just might go through what you're talking about, what would you like to just say, hey?
I would say remember to put your child's emotional needs ahead of your own. It's hard not to retaliate when someone is disparaging you. So take a breath, get a coach, do some breathing exercises before you say anything.
Thank you so much for sharing. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
This was Making It Last podcast, where it's all about helping us to have better relationships, not just with ourselves, with other people. I'm Noreen Daly. Until next time.
Making it last is all I care to do. You loving me, I loving you. Mothers and fathers, husbands and wives,